Hi guys, my name is Shelley Major. I am the middle teacher at First Congregational Church in Muskegon, Michigan. We are working on the Progressive Christianity curriculum, which our church does own, but I do not own the copyrights to. So this week we are in Unit 7, which is called Integrity of the Earth, Lesson 5, Caring for Mother Earth, which is kind of perfect because Earth Day is coming up this week on Thursday the 22nd. So we're going to be talking about taking care of the earth. We're going to read a story. I think it's called Taking Care of Mother. So our Bible verse today is John 1, verse 3. All things come into being through God, and without God not one thing came into being. What has come into being in God was life, and the life was the light of all people. So we're going to be talking about Mother Earth, and you're going to hear the word Mother Earth quite a lot. So when you hear the word Mother Earth, what do you think Mother Earth is? Can you see her? Have you met her? So we're going to talk about the 5 senses and how we can experience our mother's love through each one of our senses. So the 5 senses are seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. So some examples for seeing: we can see our mother's smile, the light in her eyes, the things she does to care for us, her hands doing things for us, and we can see her being close and ready to help if we need her. Hearing: we can hear our mother's voice and the loving things she says, the songs she sings, and the stories she tells. Touch: we can feel our mother's hug, her hands helping us, the way her hair feels, the familiar feel of her clothes, her warmth. Taste: we can eat the food our mother makes and grows and buys for us. And smell: we can smell the way our mother smells, her perfume or soap, and the food she makes us, her favorite flowers or herbs, in her garden. Now, how the Infinite Spirit expresses love through nature and Mother Earth. Some ways we can experience that through sight. We can see animals, birds, shells, the patterns that occur in nature. Hearing: we can hear the sound of water, a seed pod that rattles, a seashell, the birds chirping. Touch: we can feel the soft flower petals, smooth stones, water, sand, soil, feathers. Taste: we can taste the fresh fruit, vegetables, herbs, and water. And smell: we can smell flowers, soil, fresh cut grass, hay, pine needles, fresh herbs. So this week you might already have some plans because of Earth Day, but I encourage you to go out and take a hike, just enjoy nature, clean up anything if you see it, but just take the week to really spend some time outdoors. Hopefully it's nice this week, but even if it's not, the walk is always good. So I'm going to read the story Taking Care of Mother to you right now. Pavel and his twin sister Rosa watched the moving truck drive away. The apartment below theirs had been empty for weeks, and now maybe there would be new kids to play with. They ran downstairs to see if there were any signs of children, but stopped at the sight of an old man with white hair carrying a potted plant into the apartment. He saw them watching and smiled. Rosa was the brave one, saying, "Hello, do you have children?" The man nodded his head and said yes, but they have been grown up a long time. He could see the disappointment on the faces of the 2 young neighbors, so he added, "But I do have 2 grandchildren who will visit me often. Does that help?" Rosa and Pavel brightened at this news and ran back upstairs to tell their parents. Mr. Park, the new neighbor, was very nice and friendly, but he wasn't around very much. Pavel and Rosa once invited him to dinner, and he said, "I'm sorry, I can't come this time. Mother needs my help." Again, when they asked if he would like to go to the library with them, he kindly explained, "Mother needs my help today, but perhaps another time." Pavel and Rosa thought it was very nice that Mr. Park spent so much time with his mother. He was an old grandfather himself, with white hair and a face full of smiley wrinkles. His mother must be really old. One afternoon, Pavel and Rosa heard a loud knock on their door. It was Abby and Jake, Mr. Park's grandchildren. They wanted to play soccer. Pavel and Rosa became good friends with Jake and Abby from that day on. During one visit, Mr. Park came out to interrupt the soccer game, announcing, "Mother needs our help. Do you all want to come?" Jake and Abby both gave an enthusiastic cheer. Pavel and Rosa hesitated because they didn't want to interfere with special family time, but Jake and Abby insisted they come too. So they put away the soccer ball and asked their parents. Once they were riding in the car, Rosa asked Abby, "What's your favorite part about visiting your great-grandmother? Does she tell you stories or play games? Our grandmother loves card games." Abby and Jake looked at their grandfather for a moment, and then all three began to laugh. Pavel and Rosa were confused. Abby finally explained, "Sorry, Rosa, Grandfather isn't visiting his mother. He is going to the Clear Creek Wilderness Area. He always says the workers there are helping Mother Nature to stay healthy. That's why he says he is visiting Mother. He means Mother Nature." Pavel wanted to make sure he understood. "You mean you're not taking care of your little old lady mother?" "Well, Mother Nature is not little. She is very big, but she is really old, and always young at the same time," Mr. Park answered with a smile. Mr. Park explained that in the nature area, the volunteers helped to keep the environment safe for people and animals. They pulled out harmful plants like poison ivy. Pavel remembered how itchy he was after touching poison ivy once, and he never wanted that to happen again. They cleaned up trash and kept trails clear. One fun job was to look for birds and wildlife to keep track of which animals were living in the forest. Today, the volunteers were going to help release some animals back into the wilderness. They had been treated for injuries but were now healthy enough to go home, and the children were going to be able to observe. Pavel and Rosa were really glad they had come along. The first animal was a hawk. Someone had shot it and injured its wing. After some surgery and time recovering at a bird hospital, the hawk was strong enough to fly on its own. The hawk didn't leave the cage immediately when the door was opened. It looked out at everyone as if to make sure it was okay to go. Then it burst out and spread its strong wings, lifting high into the air. The children watched as the hawk flew over the treetops. It filled the air with a loud scream of joy before it was gone. The children felt thrilled to their toes. A raccoon was also released to its home in the forest. The raccoon had cut its leg on some glass that had been thrown in the creek and spent several weeks in the animal hospital. Now it looked perfectly healthy as it ran off into the woods. The children cheered as they watched it head for the creek. Then Mr. Park led them on a hike through the forest, and they picked up some trash left by visitors before they had to go home. In the car, Pavel asked Mr. Park a lot of questions about helping Mother Nature. He wanted to go back again. Mr. Park patiently answered every question. He understood how it felt to want to help. He also promised to take all the children with him another time. Rosa was very thoughtful on the ride home. She was thinking about the day and all the ways that Mr. Park had helped take care of Mother Nature. By the time she got out of the car, she had a list of ideas to help Mother Nature, even when they weren't out in the forest. So, that is the end of our story today. So I hope you take that, and I hope you enjoy your Earth Day. I'll see you next week. Bye.